Hey guys, GHAZZY TV here with another last Epoch build guide video, and this time we're going to take the Mage into the Sorcerer tree and play a Glacier build. Very specific playstyle to this, as you kind of want to group enemies up, pop a big ass Glacier, and just completely demolish them. My current character in game is sitting on a tooltip DPS of I don't even know how little damage that's doing. We've been seeing some crits around 80 to 100k. For the most part in the empowered monoliths, they've been around 30, 40,000 is what I've seen most of the times. The build itself is completely dog shit geared, and I wanted to make sure this video got out for you guys without having min-max gear to show you the generic gameplay this build will have in the empowered monolith content. So what makes this build so cool? Well, just like most of the Mage builds, we're going to be using a Twisted Heart of Kairos. This is how we sustain very high amounts of ward, which is very, very effective. We're also using a Prismatic Gaze, and there's a really cool little mechanic around this. This is not mandatory to be played. You can play this build without these uniques, but it's better when you get them, especially Twisted Heart. But the Prismatic Gaze is strictly offensive scaling with a critical strike chance. So the way the Prismatic Gaze works, which is pretty cool, is that you have to spend at least 40 or more mana on ability to release the Prismatic Shards. You can build them up by casting, for example, our Lightning Blast, which we're turning into a cold version. And by casting this, you build up the shards that you're flying around you. Here's the thing. The way Glacier works is that you're not going to clear and spam with it. You'll actually clear mostly with Lightning Blast, and then you'll use Glacier for the big hits. And what happens with Glacier is that there's 2 hits from it. That means that when the first hit goes off, your prismatic shards are going to shoot, and then you have modifiers that rips the enemy's defenses. For example, on the gloves here, I have a chance to shred armor. All of those things will trigger on the prismatic hits. Then the big second hit happens. That's how bosses are going to be melted with this kind of build. You see this? First one, the shard flies away, and then the second hits. But obviously with the target, they would fly towards the target. So that's basically how the build is supposed to be played. I'm not going to go through the details of the skills or the tree too much, and the reason for that is because this video is recorded before the patch notes that is coming out before the league launch, 1.0 game launch even, which means that there might be changes coming. To make sure that you have the updated information, check the link in the description to the actual build guide thread. And the build guide thread, this is my guide hub in which you can see all of the current updated build guides I have for last Epoch, which you can check them out, all of them here. The one I am playing is the Glacier right now in this video, which looks like this, in which you'll see this video for that matter, and also everything updated in detail in here on ICEBERG. So if there's any changes, you will see them in here, and you'll also have some build mechanics and play style modifiers for gear, and everything will be covered in this specific page, and do check that out. The rundown is very simple. Make sure you have a 100% chance to get your critical strike avoidance. Very, very important. And outside of that, you just want to try to get as close to your resistance caps as possible. And then we're stacking intelligence so that we can have a lot of ward thanks to the Twisted Heart of Kairos. So what's really important to point out here is that the way this works is that it takes a % of your current health, converts that to ward when you cast a necrotic or elemental spell, and then gives you a cast speed. So to compensate for this, because if I'm not hitting anything, you see my life goes down, and the lower HP I have, the less ward I get per cast. If I were to use Flask Up, I would get even more ward. Suddenly we're over 2,000 now, right? So here's the thing. If you are leeching life, that means you have a higher life pool of which this ward is giving you ward conversion of. So it's very important that you do get yourself a life leech modifier from one of your damage sources. In this case, we're gonna get this from for Black Sun, right? Yes, it's Black Sun. That drops the spell damage leech's health. This is very, very, very important. And no, the leech nodes you get from the tree, 1.5 is not enough. You want to have as much as you can get in this. It's going to help a ton. It gets your life up, which you then are killing off with a War Twisted Heart to get more of your ward up, and that's your main source of defense. But again, in the gameplay footage you're watching, basically the idea is to use the Glacier versus harder enemies, rares or bosses. Other than that, we're just going to keep up with our flame ward, use the flame rush to get past things, and then obviously we have the snap freeze to freeze enemies, and this all works on most bosses that they're just going to get permanently frozen. What's really cool with snap freeze is actually a very specific node where you can get there it is. You steal resistances. So you steal cold rest. Now, we're not going to cap ourselves using this, but what's important to point out is that the enemies will lose this amount of resistances, basically acting as a penetrating modifier for your cold damage. Really cool build. Not a super fast clearing, but it's a very enjoyable build to play. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And do make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more content, and let me know in the comments what you guys feel about the build, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Till then, as always, stay safe and keep rocking.